Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and.
There's the button, Jay. Good morning, everybody. Nice to hear from you, see your chats, see you climb in on those numbers. It's Monday. Monday. Everybody has a Monday. You're on.
Yes. There we go. Good morning. Yes, busy weekend, productive weekend. My body's sore. Doing lots of wood splitting. The wood is bucked, was being brought in, and now it's being split and stacked.
It's pretty cute seeing her little towers of wood coming together. We're going to be burning it. We cleaned out the wood stove and the chimney.
Yeah, that
was done.
I wanted to get that one done. That was on the back of my mind. And yeah, I now know how to do that. Take it all apart. I may need still some male muscle to assist, but
me.
Yes.
I'm good.
But now we got it done. Thanks to the fact we had, randomly we have this chimney sweep brush.
There's nothing random about that. I bought it. I bought it at the auction because I knew we were doing wood stove and I anticipated a house by now.
Yeah. Yeah, but it came in handy. We used it and cleaned it up. Wasn't too bad, but yeah, it needed a clean. So I'm pleased we got that done off the bucket list, the checklist to get done. And yeah, now it's just, for me, it's just splitting.
And I installed one of the underheating. So now we have underheating for the trailer, main trailer where we live. Seems to be working. So it's the butt end of our trailer seems to be warmer. So I turned it up a bit more. See if that heat's coming across. A couple little things to do to kind of patch up some of the vents that are down there naturally. So this is like right underneath our trailer.
Yeah.
And so that was installed. So one more to go. I should be done that one today.
Yeah. No, looking forward to it. It's going to be a productive few days to get these last little jobs done. Under heat for here as well. So yeah. So that's
you can feel it in your toes.
I know. I told you.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said you can live with it. But no, it's -7 here right now. You can feel it a little bit.
Yeah, we got a dump of snow a couple of days ago. It's winter. Well, winter's on its way. Still got another full month to go, quite honestly. But winter's officially here. But winter's on its way, showing itself. And before we had a week of like cloudy sun, and now we've got like 4 days of snow coming up, and it's here with cold temperatures too.
She likes to stay warm.
I do.
She has a furnace.
I think the general rule for humans in general, we like to be warm. No, I'm not special on this one.
You are Goldilocks, though. It can't be too warm, can't be too cold. You have a little zone that you like.
Again, I'm human.
I like warm. I like a good heat. I got a heated blanket that you don't even use. You can borrow some of that. You can have.
It's too hot for me. You prefer it on the highest setting. I don't. I want mild, gentle heat. But anyway, no. I'd much rather wear socks and cuddle up.
So if Paula's been to your cabin because half your porridge or one of your porridges are gone, but the one that are just right.
I love my porridge. So do our boys too.
Yep.
No,
it was a good weekend. Very productive. A little bit not chilly, but winter's here. This is the kind of end of our last little get your outside work projects done, and then I'll be stuck in the studio 4 months working on all those videos. Get those out. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. This week for me is wood splitting, get that done. And then just general maintenance. Keep the wood stove going when as needed, take care of the animals, make sure their water's done. Oh, and there's a little heads up for Wilbur. We found a little a water heater that goes inside his trough, and it's been working a treat. Low wattage, and it's been keeping his water completely defrosted. So we'll see the test this week because we're dealing with minus teens. But yeah, it's been working a treat, and big guys been having water all the time.
The reviews are at least -33, so we'll see. And it's a good bit of water, so we should be able to hold it. But yeah, let me know how it goes. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. And then yes, Miles' heated blanket. I have to laugh. My ex-wife would steal all the blankets without a complaint from me. All I need is a thin sheet.
Yeah, no, I need heat. And even we have a duvet cover, and the duvet itself moved over towards, because she's a stealer too. It moved over towards her. So I had a sheet, like the duvet cover, but no duvet. That wasn't good. To fix that.
I'd like to highlight you two are also a duvet stealer or sheet stealer, but I have just learned over the years how to sleep. So I have.
You mean how to hold on to it?
Yeah, how to hold on to it even while sleeping, so that when you pull, I'm just like, I just do a gentle tug back. You steal too.
Borrow.
Well, that's true. Yes, we borrow the the blankets from each other. But yeah.
No, fair enough. And we got, because as if you're friends, you've been over, we're on a little hide a bed thing because we're in a trailer.
Yep.
So we have to like each other. Got to be very close.
We have to like each other. True that. True that.
But
yeah,
she likes her furnace. She does cuddle up and get warm because I produce a lot of heat.
You do. My goodness, it seems unnatural considering I run cold. You seriously run hot. I think Jacob is like you as well. He cuddle up to him at night like a bit warm and sweaty.
It could be our blood. The mosquitoes love us. We're
Yeah.
heated. We heal fine, like quickly, kind of like Terminators. So maybe there's something up with us. Who knows? Hopefully it's all good.
Yes. So far you're alive and well. You're in your late 40s. Oh, don't worry, I'm right behind you. This isn't to laughing at you. I'm right behind you. So yeah.
And those are not racing stripes on the side of her head. She's starting to fill in. It's wonderful, actually. I like it. The podcast listener, she's giving me a glare. Love you.
Yes. I have some tinsel in my hair, as one ex-colleague called it.
Tinsel. Well, it is Christmas. Let's put some lights in there too. Then you getting ready for Christmas now? Is it too early?
Oh no, well, not for the kids. JJ's already like, can we decorate? I'm like, no, it's not yet December, but I'm sure he'll bring everything out of the sea can, and like if it's out, it's got to go up because otherwise it's just taking up space. I'll leave it up to them.
It's taking up space, not him.
Yes, the decorations, not us, son.
Oh, and what else happened for Sunday? There was a new thing with JJ on a Sunday. Oh.
Yeah, so he stayed home by himself for the first time because he's old enough to, and we went off to church.
He was sick.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling. Yeah, not like he's dying sick. He just wasn't feeling too well. It was like, well, instead of getting everyone else sick, and you can stay home and rest, he did that. So yeah, he stayed home, and then as soon as worship was over, I just messaged him, make sure he was alive and well, and yes, and he was excited. He couldn't wait for us to come home. He missed us. Missed his brother more.
It was a funny conversation because he was sick, and the wife goes, well, one of us can stay home or we can all stay home from church. I said, well, there's a third option. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's old enough. And he's quite mature, too. Yeah. He's a very good kid. And yeah, I felt comfortable. He had a phone. He can reach you at any time. He knows what to do. Yeah. We have lots of security around here, 2 big dogs, cameras. And yeah, we felt very fine with that.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good kid. And he is the age. Legally, he can.
Yeah, it's 11. And then you got to be 12, take a babysitting course, and then he could potentially stay home and watch his brother.
But he was joking with me. He's like, yeah, I had like 10 parties before he came home and cleaned up. I'm like, sure he did.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. But no, I was proud of him. The time was coming. The time was coming for that. But nevertheless, my baby. He'll always be my baby. But yeah, my baby is now stays home by himself.
And Jacob was also, I see JJ. I miss JJ. And this is kind of the first time JJ's been like alone, like nobody around.
And staying home by yourself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But for him, he was like, I was lonely. I'm like, yeah, you love us. You love us.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. This lot very productive at home over the weekend, and still got to be for the rest of the week. But yeah,
just add oil to your wood splitter, and you were good to go too.
Yeah, you gave that a quick once over, and even then, yesterday when it was warmer, I was pull starting it, no problem. Yeah, no, it's a good little homemade wood splitter that we got at an auction. Been serving us well over the last 4 years.
This episode brought to you by Timberland Auctions.
Yes. We were really lucky where we found our home, and yeah, just down the road, rural, but just down the road from Timberland Auctions, a great place that was having an auction like a couple months after we arrived, and over the years we've accumulated some really useful stuff for the homestead.
And Nature's Market did quite well, and they're going to have a new home, it looks like, or sounds like.
Yeah, potentially. So Nature's Market, which is also run by Tellolicious. But yeah, they typically do a market every 2 weeks. For Christmas time, they want to do one every week. But hopefully they got to sort it out. But Buck Creek Community Hall on Saturday, December 13th, they should be there with all their vendors. So they're looking forward to setting that up and finalizing it as well with Buck Creek Hall.
And we'll be there as well. Say Merry Christmas. We'll bring our books and shirts and kind of hang out with them. And maybe we're working on another special guest, somebody from the north. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that'll be cool. But no, things are coming along for Christmas. Oh, and then This weekend, give everyone a heads up, obviously, is the UCP AGM, but there's also the Breton Christmas Market too on Saturday. So you can check that out too, because the boys and I will be there, and Talilicious will be there, and Sinfully Delicious Desserts will also be there, amongst other many great vendors.
And speaking of the AGM, today's guests are two of the people running for the UCP board. So we're going to have Helen Holder and Jodie Gateman joining us today to talk about why they're running, how they're going to help improve the UCP board. And remember, UCP board is different than UCP government, and have some conversations. And boy, has the government been busy the last week or so.
Yep.
Getting ready, I guess. This is kind of like one of those right before AGM, let's dump all the good stuff or something like that. But they've been busy.
But speaking of the UCP, you had a meeting, or you had a show Saturday morning with a particular someone. Who was it?
Yeah, we got Mickey Amory on, Honorable Minister of Justice Mickey Amory. We will have him back, because now that we have his contact for his press and he's been on, and we were respectful, we'll bring him back for some other questions in the near future, because he certainly is one of the members of the government that I have questions for. So, Heather, if you're watching, let's get him back sometime soon, and we'll have a conversation. Especially want to talk to him as the Attorney General, and some of the things that I think in the justice side of things could be improved. And maybe these are things that he can put on his agenda.
Ding, ding, ding. Even to this day, anytime I hear, in the criminal justice system, ding, ding comes into my head. But you're right. I think it was an excellent panel that that you had on. But I think that we would love to hear more from Honorable Amory.
Yeah, I called him Mr. and also called him Mickey at one point too. It's in my habit, just using first names. Let's go ahead and get into the news, because there's a lot to catch up on, because we didn't quite get through everything last week. So let's go ahead and do that. So the big topic last week, of course, was Danielle Smith using the notwithstanding clause. That's what Amory came on for. So Bill 9. And here is just an observation from life. I have noticed a pattern. The people who are upset that Danielle Smith is protecting women, children, and parents by invoking the notwithstanding clause are also happy the Supreme Court of Canada removed the mandatory minimum for child predators, celebrated the death of ostriches and Charlie Kirk, throw insults instead of arguments, wanted children out of school for a strike. Upset people wanted the choice to not vax, cannot define what a woman is, insists banning guns will stop gun crime, and advocates, supports, and demands more socialism. Frankly, I don't care what these people think. However, I'll pray for their souls. God bless. And remember, Jesus said, I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. Matthew 5:4. Word of the day. So just remember, this is a spiritual battle. If you're really paying attention, this is good versus evil, and there's a way to deal with evil. You're supposed to love your enemy, forgive those who trespass against you. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And this is a way to make sure that you're clearing your heart and your mind, because a clear heart and mind is how you continue this battle. Don't get filled with hate and anger. Make sure that you stay. Oh, look, we forgot something. Yeah, we forgot something.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead and do your little magic there and get our little logo up.
Ta-da!
I'm looking at it like purple. But remember, keep your heart and your mind clear, because that's how you continue to do this work. And don't let these people bother you to the point where you get angry and frustrated, because that's kind of their purpose. That's what they're trying to do, provoke you, to distract you. But I have noticed that a pattern has happened. It's the same group over and over again that fall for all of those other things, or push those other things, or pushing this one too. So that's kind of how you know you're on the right side of history on this. Yeah. You cheer the death of something like ostriches or Charlie Kirk, you're on the wrong side.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So we did talk about, I think, briefly, that the clone meat, there's been a pushback. So this is the kind of thing that does give you a little bit of hope that government's listening, is because due to public pressure, they're going to pause, and I'm saying pause, the rollout of the clone meat. Keep in mind, the meat is not itself going to be cloned. Yeah. It's the parents of the meat. So the offspring are going to be on your shelves. The parents are being cloned. It doesn't make this any better. It's still GMO. But the pushback has been high, and they're now going to take the time to go through some sort of testing, which that was an admission they weren't.
Which would have been nice, right? Like, and because I commented about this, so at Salt and Pepper in Breton, they have a big TV that has the news on and the global headline news. And one thing that caught my eye was that it said the cloned meat with that had no safety reviews
And no labeling.
and no labeling was going to be paused. And I'm like, the fact they put publicly on mainstream
yeah.
media that there was no safety reviews and that it was not going to be labeled means that that even they're not even going to be supporting this.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, but I think it's also true that quietly they're going to bring it back. There's not going to be some major announcement, so we need to stay on top of that to let people know. And the food professor, he's still pushing for the labeling side of things. He says this is very safe. We certainly should be able to see the label. It should be natural or
agreed
parents or something along those lines, or GMO. Like slap something on there.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, we took Thursday off. Dog still hasn't reached the other side of the fence, which is good so far.
Yeah.
So maybe we still have something on order. So
it's meant to be coming out. It should be coming in either today or tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. So we can try and keep them away from the crossing that part.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that. Okay. So this Gil guy, many of our followers and viewers know who this is. I guess he's let's see if he's blocked me yet. President of the Alberta Federation of Labor, the one that was going to try and create that super strike. Very, very, very woke and very pushing it. He put that this is the worst kind of performative politics. That is on Danielle Smith using an notwithstanding clause. They don't care about kids. They certainly do. They certainly do, Gil. You don't care about kids because I asked the question he didn't answer. Gil here thinks it's okay to remove the breasts of minor girls, and there's a link to National Post article about Alberta doing exactly that. So minor girls having the breast removed as part of their trans. I don't even want to call it mutilation. Let's use the right word here. Does he also think they should be able to get tattoos, married, drunk, and smoke, and let children be children? They can choose whatever they want as adults. P.S. This is proof Gil is politically aligned with ideology. Now, keep in mind, this is 15 and under. So somebody actually posted and goes, actually, girls can get married at 16 in Alberta. Like, again, this is 15 and under. So do you want 15s to be married to their young man or old man or whatever the heck you were? Actually, and they can get married. But if we don't allow tattoos, getting married, drunk, smoke, drive, all these other things,
all that stuff,
then why in the world can they augment their body? Mutilate their body. Okay, so Gil is on the wrong side of this one. And unions, let's start busting unions. Get some right to work legislation in there so that people can choose. And I guarantee you a good chunk of Gil's membership will say, see ya, Gil. In fact, probably have to get rid of him. Cartoon, he's putting this in, which paper is this again? Toronto Star. This is Thursdays. The notwithstanding clause. So the listeners, it's a big missile, like a big fat missile. It says notwithstanding clause. Danielle Smith standing there saying the Alberta pronoun buster. And cool. My post was cool. We must use all available legal tools to protect children from the woke mob. Thank you for capturing that perfectly. Sure. I don't care if it's a big nuclear explosion. We'll use all tools to protect children. Every time, all the time. So thank you very much for capturing that, Theo. I think he was trying to be the other side, trying to, embarrass Alberta. It doesn't embarrass us at all. No, for sure. Use 2. Get 3, 1 for each law. We don't mind. We're going to protect children here. And by the way, the side of history that we're on is let children be children.
Yeah.
Don't add chemicals or scalpels to them. The other side, well, they want to add chemicals and scalpels to them.
No, when they're adults.
Yeah, and sterilize them. And
that
mess with their
one
mind.
is just awful because the realization when that penny drops when they're older. And
well, we saw that with Loris Cardinal. When he realized that he's now sterile, didn't even think that was part of it. They never spoke about that. So he calls himself a sterile Indian. And absolutely. They're sterilizing the kids. They're messing with their minds. So we're against that. We're taking a bold step on that, aren't we? All right. Danielle Smith also started to talk about defending free speech because as part of regulators, they were using the kind of calling this the Jordan Peterson law. So outside of your profession, if you're doing stuff online, your regulator has been using that against you, do retraining and other things. Jennifer Johnson comes to mind here, though, because she was on a podcast talking about trans stuff,
Yeah.
and she got in trouble within the UCP. So I wonder if they're going to eat their dog food on this one. That's a term in tech. Eating your dog food means you'll also do what you do as a product. So you'll eat your own. Well, for example, if you're in Microsoft, you'll use Microsoft services inside the company and sell it. It's called eating your own dog food. I hope UCP does that. There are some concerns around this because government is now getting more involved in something that's supposed to be independent of the government. So there's a fine line here. I've spoken to some lawyers who actually think that, although in principle, this is great,
Exactly.
not necessarily in practice, because if, who knows, NDP take over one day, will they leverage this too?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. You also have to factor out when the other party will get power.
Yeah. Now, I think the more important, the better step, because I said it's a step in the right direction. However, now let's look at right to work. Thanks. Because if right to work is in place, people can choose the union that they're part of or not.
Yeah.
And this will force, through competition and through free market, the unions to represent the members properly. And targeting members and regulate, even if you're regulators, same choice. There should be more than one that you can choose. If they do that, then they wouldn't be targeting their members in this kind of fashion by default. So maybe this is the way forward. Instead of trying to put more government in them,
Yeah.
allow more free market on them. That might be a good way to do it. If you could join the Law Society of Alberta, or the Christian Law Society of Alberta, or the Rural Law Society of Alberta, like if there were multiple of them, they'd have to compete for membership and treat their members right.
Exactly. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, don't necessarily blame the union members. It's the union's infrastructure.
Union or regulators.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so there's more work to be done there. But I do like the idea that at least the issue's brought up, and we'll see where this goes. But there is concern that too much government in independent bodies is not necessarily a great thing. Small world. So didn't know this. Paul McKinnon, the president of the CFIA, was also involved as the architect of the Emergencies Act invocation for Convoy 2022. So this guy is anti-freedom, anti-speaking to the people. And now we've seen a second version of this, because he was part of the Convoy Emergencies Act response and invoking it. So I'm not surprised he responded to nobody here, and he's taken a heavy hand. And here's some of the parallels. He uses the RCMP as his goons. He did in both of those. So, small world.
Yeah, we now know. I've used the phrase "because I said so." Now we know who's saying it.
Yep, and he was also appointed. Right, he's not elected to this position. So the Liberal government may have liked his work in 2022, and then moved him over to here to go and put boots on the necks of farmers.
Yep.
Yeah. So the small world. Small world. Connect those dots. La 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 la. This came up on the Saturday episode. There was a special episode where we're talking about the trans industrial complex and cracking down to save children, women, and parents' rights. And this Dr. Christopher Wells popped up a couple of times on this issue. And we brought it up on Saturday. I'll bring it back to you. So he responded to Danielle Smith by saying, because she highlighted New Zealand has now stopped the use of puberty blockers on minors. Great. So they've now joined Alberta, United Kingdom, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and many more. And his response, and I just kind of learning about this person, and he's also senator. So just to be clear, Senator Christopher Wells, independent senator from Alberta. He responds, sorry, nope. When you start with flawed research and bias and then mix it with political ideology, the results are anything but credible. Here's what accurate research looks like. And there's a link. Notice it says politics in it. It's not medical research at all. It's a political opinion. The resounding medical consensus is that the gender affirming care is safe. A couple of things to highlight here. This whole sentence here is projection. Projection is when you accuse somebody else of doing what you're doing. When you start with flawed research, which he did, is political opinion, and biased, very biased, it's from the Democrats, and then mix it with political ideology, the results are anything but credible. His whole post is discredited. So he's correct on this sentence. That's very correct. It's not accurate research. And this last line is what I took issue with as well. So I give a warning to everybody. When someone says resounding medical consensus, they are trying to convince you that science is a popularity contest. It's not. Science is based on evidence, not a large collection of opinions. And here's 3 quotes I pulled up for you.
Mhm.
Michael Crichton. Anyways,
Yeah.
people will correct it. If it's consensus, it's not science. It isn't science. If it's science, it isn't consensus. Consensus is the business of politics, as you can tell by the link.
Yeah,
Says
yeah,
politics
exactly.
right
That's
in
right.
it. You're absolutely correct. And then we also have another one from Richard Feynman.
Mhm.
Man. Science is the belief in the ignorance of experts. Correct. Because if we just believe what experts say all the time, we wouldn't dig into it, look for the evidence, and prove
Mhm.
it. We just listen to them. And
Yeah.
a lot of experts are ignorant. They assume. And this is what science is for. It's to go and make sure that, hey, they said the world is this. Let's go look. Let's do
Mhm.
some science. The next one's from Carl Sagan. And arguments from authority are worthless. In science, there are no authorities. Correct. Because that's like a top down thinking. The authority tells you what to do. There's no dictation
Mhm.
in science. It's a very, very specific thing. Thank you very much to Leighton Gray and his producer co-host here, Michael, for having Chris Dacey and me on and myself on Friday, as we were talking about the ostrich situation, a deep dive
Mhm.
into it, the legal deep dive. And every once in a while, I get this. You're correct, Jason, from Leighton Gray, which is kind of cool because he's a very, very strong lawyer
Mhm.
when it comes to government overreach, how the process works, how it gets abused and leveraged against us. And this is what we talk about. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you very much to Leighton, Chris, and Michael for that episode. Alberta Bill 9 episodes. This is a special Saturday thing. It's quite the panel.
Yeah.
So myself, along with Honorable Mickey Amory, and we had Mia Hughes, who is fantastic guest on this subject. She's done a lot of research. She speaks very well about it. And she is absolutely advocating for children, making sure we can get back to some normality here. We had Kelly Lynn Peary. So this is a woman who transitioned to a man and is now detransitioning back to a woman, and understanding how the system is stacked against her with Bill C9, C4. You're not even allowed to get counseling for this, and spoke very highly of Alberta's use of the notwithstanding clause to protect children.
Mhm.
And we had Blaine Paduke. Thanks very much. You were ready for that one. Locked and loaded, ready to go. And he does not call himself a trans woman. He calls himself a transsexual.
Yep.
So this is a man who wants to appear as a woman and makes him more comfortable, but he's absolutely doesn't consider himself a woman and does think hands off children as well. It's way too early. This is not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And we also had Jack Decker. His name's James Decker, but goes by Jack online. A gay conservative, and he definitely understands what outed and being out and coming out means. And again, also thinks protecting children is the right path forward. All 3 of those people I just mentioned were part of, in some way, the creation of the laws that are being protected by Bill 9. So they gave some input to Alberta to ensure that children are protected. And then, of course, Nico. He's quite the advocate as well. He goes on American platforms to debate this issue, and he was very outspoken. And we're really good to have Nico as a co-host on this one. So it was a good episode.
Yeah.
Honorable Amory came on for about 20 minutes and just kind of broke down the procedure, how it works, why, and unfortunately, why we need these laws, because children definitely need to be protected. So it was a good episode, so check that out. It's on YouTube, it's on Rumble, it's on X. You can catch up. And as we get into the last minute here before we bring our guests, there's some news here from Kayla Pollock. She was going in for some surgery to correct, I think it was a cyst or an infection in her eye. So prayers for her as she recovers. Unfortunately, the news came out shortly after. The surgery was not a success, and she has lost sight in her left eye. She's going to keep fighting, of course. And if you can support her, there's a link in there. I think it's opkayla.ca. Let me pull that up for the people listening. Yeah, opkayla.ca/donate if you want to help her out. Her quick story is she got the booster and hasn't been able to walk since. So she became paralyzed from that. Her body, her bladder, her bowels, there's a lot of parts of her that's shutting down. And keep in mind, she believed her government. and you definitely, thought she was doing the right thing. And now she's going through the consequences of that choice. And now she's lost sight in her left eye. So go follow Kayla online. It's Casey Pollock, Pollock, and you'll hear some more from her. She did a Spaces, and she's giving videos, and she's just being very frank. Like, this is horrible. The same system that she trusted is now turning their back on her.
Correct.
And not there to support her. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
But prayers for her. All right, so now we got Jodie and Helen waiting in the wings there. Let's go ahead and bring them on. Just give them a little heads up that we're coming, and go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jodie. I think you're muted on your side. Click that microphone button, and then we got Helen Holder as well. There's Jodie. Hi, Jodie. Can you hear us?
Good morning. I can hear you.
Great. And Helen, can you hear us? I don't know.
Yes, I can.
Helen,
can you hear me okay?
Yes, we got you. We got you. You might be rural Alberta because your internet connection might be a little bit slow. But you can correct us on that one. And so are we. We had to put up Starlink just to get a connection. So, Jodie, let's go ahead and start with you. Or was it Helen? I think Helen's the one that reached out to me via a fan of the show. And then Jodie, we got connected as well because both of you are running for the UCP board this weekend. You're going to be at the AGM. You got your name on the ballot. So let's go ahead and start with Helen's. Helen, what got you interested in running for the board? And I hear you're quite the conservative.
Well, thank you. Well, I guess I've been involved in UCP politics since about, more actively since about 2021. I've been on 3 different boards and really support what Calgary Law are doing. So I joined their board last year, and I moved out to Highwood about 3.5 years ago and joined the Highwood for the last year. And really it was COVID that got me really fired up about politics. I just really saw a lot of things happening that I didn't agree with. And so I just want to be a voice. I feel like I have a good skill set for this role. And I was considering running for Southern Director, but then Jodie stepped up. And so took one for the team and moved over to VP fundraising so that, there was a chance for both of us to have a board position. And I just really passionate about, having a strong board. I think we need a strong and, willing to represent the grassroots. I just see an opportunity to help with that. And so that's why I'm running.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Helen. And Jodie, it's a 1-2 punch from the South, it sounds like. The grassroots as well. And a lot of us got more involved during the COVID times, convoy time, because the grassroots is where we live. And this is the people that we hang out with, our neighbors, and what motivates us as well. So congratulations for running. And let's go ahead and introduce you.
So I'm Jodie Gateman. I've been involved in politics literally since I was knee high. My parents were involved with WCC and Reform Party, and I slept under tables while they had meetings. So even with the UCP party, though, I've been involved since its inception. I sat as VP of Communications on the original UCP board. When I take a look at, what's happening in the political landscape, I decided maybe it was time to step back in. We are, 2 years away from an election. I've been a counselor, a farmer's wife, and a mother through the NDP's 4 years, and I never want to do that again, and I hope my kids don't have to do that again. So in political timelines, that's a nanosecond, 2 years. We need to be ready to go for this next election, and that means strong CAs, grassroots voices being heard, information being transferred, looking at maybe some mentoring between those CAs so that we can get seats where we haven't before, but make sure everybody's strong, well-funded, and on the same page, on the same message when we move into preparations for the next election. And don't let Helen sell herself short. She's an amazing fundraiser. So the fact that she stepped up to that role, I think, is amazing.
Wonderful.
Excellent. And let's go ahead and talk about that role, Helen. What is the VP fundraiser and why is it so important? And why do you believe you'll be able to bring something fresh to that position?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've done quite a bit of fundraising for the party. I've done fundraising outside of the party as well. I'm on the community hall board for my local community hall here, where I was up until last week. I just stepped down from that so I could focus more on this. And so, we've done silent auctions that have raised quite a bit of money for the local community hall. And in terms of the UCP, we really focus a lot on fundraising at Highwood. So we've done 2 fundraisers already this year, and we have 1 more planned next month that we're just gearing up for. So we've done the bigger fundraisers, and we've done grassroots fundraisers. We've also done a lot of friend raisers where you basically just keep the costs low or even have free events to try to bring in more membership. So I really believe in integrating those 2 functions together, making sure that we're helping people, have events that can really bring in more membership and show some value to the members so that they want to spend more time coming to your events, supporting the party, and then ultimately giving you money. So that's the idea. And I think that I bring a lot to the table with that. I've been in oil and gas for 17 years, and I'm used to dealing with executives and having to make difficult decisions when the stakes are high. And I think that I can deal with really well with networking with executives, especially in Calgary, but I'll help a lot out with Edmonton, and we really need to bring more funds to Edmonton to get those ridings back as well. So it's kind of my jam. I think that I'm a great fit for this role and looking forward to helping with it.
That's awesome, Helen, because we're dealing with a party that has a lot of questionable fundraising. Sometimes the unions are behind them and other things. There's been a challenge over the years for sure. You're dealing with a beast, really. We have to try and, challenge the fundraising as well and make sure that we're well equipped to get out there. Now, Jodie, one of the things we did was we had Daryl Comic on, and he was talking about the focus on CAs and strengthening them, and kind of show them how to reach out to the community, have more conversations and communication on the CA level, both to the members and up to the board and the rest of the party as well. I was pretty impressed with that kind of focus. I thought that was a good idea. This is how you can get the voices of the grassroots all the way up and make sure that they're heard. And it sounds like you're in the same type of thinking, that the CAs is going to be a focus, at least in the southern portion for you, to try and strengthen them. Is that something that, did I read that right? Did I hear you right on that?
You did hear me correctly on that. That's one of the roles of the Southern Director or any of the regional directors, is to make sure that those CAs are doing events, not just during election time, but during the whole season, getting people involved, having their presence known. We've got nomination runnings that we have to do in every single riding across this province. We need to make sure that the CAs are ready, that they're looking for the best people. It's great to have nomination contests because that's what gets people excited. Strengthening those CAs, making sure that they're strong, they're following the right rules so we don't have any problems with Elections Alberta, making sure that they're really, really nice and strong. But that does not mean that we're going to sacrifice. Oftentimes I hear people say, well, the rural ridings are our stronghold. They're safe. We can steal volunteers out of there to go help in Calgary or Edmonton. Now, we can't be taking those rural CAs for granted either. We have to be working so that all the CAs are strong. And those of us who think this riding's solid, we have a good feel, we're out in the community often, can then work on mentoring or showing what works or tuning messages to fit their urban counterparts. I'd like to see that urban-rural divide between the CAs kind of disappear. And we're going to do that with the help of our fundraisers, our help of our communications, so that these CAs are all talking basically from the same playbook, but different messages. What works in urban doesn't always work in rural. And sometimes we even have a conflict with what we're saying. We use the example of people getting caught coming out to the farm behind a combine or a tractor, and they're like, oh, it was an extra 30 minutes of my day. And that's not quite what it was. But when I say to them, well, it's the same as 3 red stoplights is if you actually time it. And then they start to think, oh, well, that's not as bad as I thought it was. So we need to streamline some of that communication. We need to make sure our funds are strong, and those CAs have to all be working together. It can't be, this is my CA, everybody stay away. We need everybody working together. We're all conservatives. We don't have rural and urban conservatives. We don't have Strathcona conservatives and Cardston Siksika conservatives. We're all conservatives together, and we got to get on the same page.
Yeah, you can tell you've been in this for a while, because you're absolutely correct. Like we really should be unified a little bit more and helping each other. There's ways to do it more than just fundraising and volunteering. It's also, how do you communicate, and how can you put on town halls, and how do these work, and can you get somebody from this place to come and talk to the people over here, because we all have the same mission, which is faith, family, and future. So how do we do that? And in the cities is definitely where I think a lot more work needs to be done, because that's where the other side has been spending a lot of their time.
And are well established there.
Yeah, well established for sure, especially on the union side of things. Is there any way to get into the union members, or help get them more involved with the UCP, Helen? Because this seems to be where the NDP has picked up a lot of their support, is they've basically taken over the unions. You can see they become ideology advocates now. Can we reach the members? If we can't reach the union, can we reach the members in some way? Don't know if we still have Helen.
Sorry, Jason, the connection is pretty bad. Sorry, could you just repeat that? You're wondering if we can get to the members in the cities? Is that what I was hearing?
The union members specifically, so ATA and other unions. Can we get to the members? Because it seems like their unions themselves are quite aligned with the NDP.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we really need to do a lot of work in the cities. I mean, I like what Jodie said. We really need to try to bridge that divide between the cities and the rural ridings. So a lot of it is misunderstanding. So I think a lot of it is messaging. So I'd really like to work on fundraising events in the cities where we can really try to also bring the messaging home, and just, I guess we really need to grow the membership in the cities. That's the biggest thing. And so having a lot of low key fundraisers where we're just trying to bring in more and more people, and we just need to really grow and reach out to those people that are maybe more middle of the road, not that involved in politics, and just try to get them fired up about it, try to get them excited about the UCP. So I think that's going to be a big part of it, is reaching out to those immigrant communities, just the everyday Calgarian that just isn't that concerned about politics, and we need to show them why they need to be. So I think we'll be able to do that with a bit more activity in Calgary, I think, and Edmonton. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Actually, you brought up a really good category there, and that's the people that don't normally vote. Yeah. So the provincial election, I think it was 60%, or sometimes 40 to 60, depends on what's going on. People show up. That leaves us a lot of people that we need to reach and connect with. So Jodie, will that be part of your focus as well, is getting more people to show up to the ballots, to provide their ballots at the election?
Oh, yes, of course. Apathy is always your biggest enemy when you're walking into an election, and you have to get people to care about it. So I agree totally with Helen, and we might need to tweak our messaging a little better. It doesn't matter who we want to talk to. We have to really find what speaks to them. When I'm in my career mode and dealing with corporations, I talk to the dog in the language of the dog about what's important to the dog. We don't talk to the dog about carrots because he doesn't care about those. He cares about beef. So that's where we have to solidify. I don't think we are, for mainstream voters, just can't decide which way to go. I don't think we're that far off. What I think is there's a disconnect maybe in what we're speaking to. We need to speak to the voter in the language of the voter about what's important to the voter. What's important to me out here in the rural farm life is not the same as somebody who lives downtown in Calgary. It's not the same as somebody who's rural up by Fort Mac. We have to change those messages. The core item stays the same. You are 100% correct on that. But we need to talk to those voters voters about what's important to them, or they don't care. You don't talk to a child about don't touch the oven, it's not hot, when they're watching Mickey Mouse. You talk to them when they're around the oven and touching it. They're like, ooh, that's hot. Now it's important to them. So we got to find what those important items are to the voters, and it won't matter where they stand. We'll be able to actually talk to them. The problem with the unions is they have a connected base. They can network inside themselves. And the problem that's happening is the people in those unions are getting told what they're supposed to think, what they're supposed to believe, and how they're supposed to vote. We need to start talking to those people about what's important to them rather than them being told from the top down. We are a grassroots party. We are conservative. We need to be proud of that. We need to stop apologizing for that. And we need to find what's important with each and every voter. Every CA needs to identify those for we can go forward into the next election and touch some of those people who've never voted before because they don't care about it, who haven't voted before because they don't have the correct information, and those of them who haven't had anybody reach out to them, so they just haven't been involved before. Those are really the key points in moving forward, working forward for 2 years out on an election. We're getting ready now so that when it comes election time, these people will be excited. They'll be fired up. They'll understand they're part of something bigger than themselves and something that's important to them.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely correct. 2 years are going to go by like this. So the work needs to start right now to go ahead and capture those voters and help educate them, especially the union ones, because maybe some of your town halls could be directed to union members. Hey, union member, come out and hear what it is we're offering. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Why the notwithstanding clause for the teachers? You know, those kind of things. I think those will be some great conversations to have. So Helen, let's go ahead and take off the candidate hat just for a second, and let's talk to Helen. So Helen, what is important to you as an Albertan? What issues are very core to you as a grassroots person that actually loves Alberta and wants to see us prosper?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a very strong grassroots focused person. So I really believe in the party just representing the members. I think that, you know, what rural cares about is different from what the city cares about, but I kind of come from both worlds. So I was born and raised in Calgary, and I've been living rurally for almost 4 years now. So I see both worlds, and I understand the immigrant communities in Calgary, and I understand what rural care about. And for me personally, I think we're under attack as a province and as a country. And I think we need to be mostly concerned about protecting ourselves. So, you know, what Danielle Smith has been doing with the Sovereignty Act is great. I'd really like to see it step up a notch. Now that we're just seeing not a whole lot of traction. Now we're possibly getting a pipeline, but it's not enough. We need to see all of those 9 bad laws, as the Premier calls it, repealed. And we need to start really stepping up with, you know, threatening action if that's not going to get any traction. So I think the Alberta pension plan is something that I've been pretty passionate about. Our CA actually held an Alberta First Pension event back in March when it wasn't as popular. I think we had only about 23% support for an Alberta pension plan back in February. And we held an event in March. And then by June, I think it was up to about 55%. So huge momentum, and that's great. I'm really passionate about educating the public because I think the everyday person just doesn't care. They don't understand the causes of all of this. And well, a lot of people don't, a lot of people do, but many people just are trying to get by with their day-to-day life. They're just trying to pay their bills. They don't know, you know, fully what the causes of why they're struggling. So it's up to us to let people know what the issues are. And I think the more we educate, the more people will see what the problems are and be more on board with things like the Alberta Pension Plan and the provincial police force, things like that, that really need to happen for us to start asserting our autonomy a bit more in Alberta. So yeah, those are the things I care about. Obviously, child education. I have 2 young kids, and so I'm really happy with some of the legislation that's come out. But we have a lot of work to do to help the public understand what we're trying to do, because there's a huge like anger in the teacher community. And I do have a couple teacher friends that are more like-minded, and even they're frustrated. So, you know, I think we need a lot more engagement with teachers and healthcare workers. So I'd like to facilitate that. I'd really like to see meetings between UCP officials and those groups of people that are willing to talk. I don't want to force the conversation with people who are completely hostile, but those that are at least open to having the conversation, we need to start doing that more, because they can be our advocates within their communities. When we kind of help them understand where we're coming from and what the benefits of what we're doing is, then they can go back and discuss that among the wider community as well. So yeah, those kind of things are really important. I just think that, yeah, the school system is a bit of a mess right now. And my kids are they're not in the public system, they're in a charter school. And so I wouldn't put them in the public system with the way things are right now. So I think there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you're talking to two homeschoolers, and my wife, she ran for the school board as a trustee. So yeah, we definitely think there's some work that needs to be done there.
Sure.
And yeah, for sure. And Jodie, same question to you. Let's take the candidate hat off for a second. And as an Albertan, what are some of the issues that you're focused on and you think are important to bring forward?
Well, some of the things that are important to me are private property rights, of course, being a farmer's wife. Education, I started out my career when I got out of university as a teacher. I have my PhD in that. So that's something that I strive for. Luckily, I have a teacher that deals with me well. But when you have a PhD in education, I can be a teacher's worst nightmare in how they're dealing with my kid. And then for me, it's of Alberta healthcare. We've had 2 family members we've lost just due to wait times. We need to have better. Albertans deserve better than this. We've been struggling at this for 50 some odd years, and we just don't seem to be able to find a change that works. And I think we need to stand tough on that one and get our healthcare system back in place. We have 224 ICU beds across Alberta at this moment in time. But if you do our population count, that's not very many people who can get critically injured or ill. That's not sustainable at all. Being a county councillor, I've got an ambulance that shut down more than it isn't a life-saving ambulance. Tried pilot projects with AHS and the union has shut us down. Volunteer firefighters can drive an ambulance. A PCP can work in the back. But more times than not, we've had that shut down. So those are items that are passionate to me personally, but I mean, as a regional director, my job is to move the grassroots forward, not that voice, not my personal agenda. We do not need politicians who have personal agendas and such. We need politicians who are in love with, what did Martin Luther King Jr., what did he say? We need politicians not in love with publicity, but in love with justice. We need politicians who want to go there, get the job done, and get out of office. At this moment in time, what encouragement do they have when they sit in office and all they're concerned about is re-election? You don't have any incentive to do things quickly and beneficially, like a corporation where their bottom line and their dollars count. We need to look at that more from a personal opinion. I don't want to have that confused with my candidate hat. I'm a farmer's wife first and foremost. Family comes first for me. I am a Denver Broncos fan, and I embrace the title of odd little duck that many people have tried to use as a slight against me. So in a nutshell, that's me.
Yeah,
you're in good company, and MLK certainly had a bunch of good quotes.
Yeah, I agree. Education and healthcare. We have a local hospital half an hour away that occasionally we see a Facebook post saying, sorry, emergency room is going to be closed this weekend because we're understaffed. There's no obstetrics within an hour radius of where we live. It is incredibly disheartening that we have such potential to really have such fantastic healthcare for the province. And this is exactly what we're dealing with. It's very sad.
Yeah. So Helen, as we get into the next part of this conversation, Ottawa. All right. So you kind of hinted at that about maybe we're going to get a pipeline. I think you're referring to the MOU information that just came out. And what we learned about that is basically Danielle Smith is required to try and make this happen with her hands tied, handcuffed, chained, legs chained, everything still, a problem. None of these, we're not going to get the tanker ban lifted. We're not going to get the actual pipeline laws lifted. If she comes to the table with basically everything, then maybe it might move forward. This is kind of the position we're at. So the relationship with Ottawa is very difficult. Okay. And as the UCP board that supports the UCP government, there's a distinction there, but a lot of work is there. How important is it to you to educate people through fundraising and events, this relationship with Ottawa? And what are people saying around you? What are your neighbors and friends and people saying about this relationship with Ottawa?
Yeah. So I think it's hugely important. And, like Jodie, I don't want to come into the board with my own personal agenda. I feel strongly that we need to move more towards Alberta sovereignty, but I'm not here to make that happen. All I think the board is here to do is represent the members. And I think that a strong majority of the members care about that as well. And so I think that it's incumbent on us to help facilitate. I think it's huge. It's also a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. I mean, I have conservatives on my own board that will walk away when we start the conversation because it's just so anger producing for some reason that people don't want to talk about it if they feel really strongly on the other side of it. So I've always been sort of a mediator in my life, and so I feel like I have the right skill set to be able to talk to both sides, and I do talk to both sides. I talk to people who are completely on the other side of it, and we have to be sensitive in how we have those conversations. But people are across the board, like they're from one spectrum to the other on this topic. And I mean, most of the people that I engage with are very pro independence, and a lot of them are just losing patience. So I feel like there's this undercurrent of people that are getting frustrated with the government and really want us to take more action. So it's going to be really critical to see what happens in the next few weeks and months with Ottawa. I just feel like they're stringing us along and there's not going to be a whole lot of movement. So I think that, we have to engage with the government and the caucus. But I also think we aren't the government. Like, we are just here to represent the members, and we can't force anything on the government, obviously. So we're here to work with them and just make sure we are representing the members and bringing the issues to the government that we are lucky enough to have influence over and contact with them. So it's that we can have that discussion with them and just make sure that the members' beliefs and the issues that are important to them are forefront on the minds of those representatives that work for us. So yeah, I think that we're in challenging times, and I don't know how much traction we can get for pushing more towards sovereignty, but I know the referendum is most likely coming up in the springtime, and that's going to be a very critical time. So I think doing that education before that happens is crucial.
Yeah, and you actually brought up the elephant in the room, which was going to be the next place I go, which is the independence conversation. So we had Danielle Smith's interview released, it was like a week ago now, on the show, where she was talking about exactly that, Helen. She said in the spring, there's going to be a referendum. There's going to be multiple referendums, it sounds like, as a result of the Alberta Next panel. She's going to be going to the people to get some more direction. But the UCP membership itself is also trying to provide some direction. And as you said, the UCP board doesn't run the government, but it does bring forward policies in the voice of the membership. So Jodie, as we have this conversation about independence, what are you hearing from your side? And I just got a report from somebody who went to an APP, Alberta Prosperity Project meeting yesterday, and it grew 3 times from the first time they had meeting at the exact same place just months ago. So yesterday, it was 3 times what it was before. It seems to be a lot of people want to know about this. And I think what Jodie was talking about with some of the frustration is the uncertainty. What happens if it comes back as a yes? What does this mean? What does this mean to industry and the relationship with our neighbors and that kind of stuff? Is this stuff bouncing around your mind as well? And we don't have to take a position. I'm just curious, as the Southern director, what are people saying down there?
Well, it's a as Helen said, it's a very interesting conversation. There are people all over the place. The question is going to be important. Are you talking about independence just in name? Are you talking about sovereignty? Are you talking about leaving, being your own country? Are you talking about joining the US? And everybody's got a different opinion on that. So we definitely have to have conversations about this. I think one of the biggest things is not everybody knows what the question is or what that strive towards is. To me, the strive is definitely Alberta's got to be treated better. Think of it as a family, and all the provinces are the kids. You don't go to one kid who's very, very successful and say, you now owe your brothers and sisters X number of dollars because they're not doing as well as you are. You, as the parent, look at them and say, how can we help you? Do you need budget help? Do you need, what do you need to make these things go? Let's take a look at this. The other thing is people have to stay in the room for the conversation. Charlie Kirk was right. Bad things happen when we stop communicating. And yes, it might be a difficult conversation, but that's where we have to tweak that message. You can't talk to people about the fact that Alberta has $16 billion leaving at the province to go to Ottawa and have nothing coming back in return. Nobody has ever seen that. I don't know of anyone that's seen the number of $16 billion on their bank balance. So it's a hard thing to contemplate. But when you talk about the fact that that means $6,000 for every single person in Alberta, now you can talk about that. Now people start to understand. So number one, we got to figure out what is the question. What is our strive for? We're in a poker game or a lawsuit here, for layman's terms. When we're moving forward, what is our end goal? What are we wanting to achieve? Is it simply different payments to Ottawa? Is it actual get out of our way, stay out of us, we're going to wall ourselves off, or anything in the middle? We need to define that so we can have a conversation around it. And those people need to stay in the room. Everybody's got to have respectful communication. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. They all have different ideas, but we need to stay in the room to have that conversation. And then the other thing is we have to take a look at speaking, again, back to the language that a voter understands. Nobody understands $16 billion because nobody's ever seen it. Nobody's ever held it. So when we start talking $6,000 per person, you start adding that into your family budget. It makes a difference. So those are the things I see that we have to move forward with. And those are the conversations that are happening down here, but people are getting upset because they don't know what that exact question is. Are we talking about leaving Canada? Are we talking about just sovereignty? Are we talking about no longer paying into the equalization? What is that conversation? It's hard to have a debate or a civil conversation when two of you are talking two totally different points.
I really love how you framed that and position it there, Jodie, because it's absolutely correct. We need to do a better job on educating people. That's what the APP, I think, is working on. And if you sent a blank, not a blank check, but an unsigned check to everybody that says $6,000, and this would be yours if only, then maybe that might wake them up a little bit. Like, oh, yeah, I'd love to cash that because I could do a lot with that. And that's a great way to make them reflect. Like, $16 billion, that's a crazy number. But $6,000 every year? Yeah, that could wake a lot of people up. So we're going to wrap up the public portion. If the two of you won't mind, we do have a private portion where we speak to our supporters. And there's a couple more questions that popped up I'd love to bring to you. But as we kind of sign off here on the public side, Helen, the election is this weekend. Why don't you go ahead and let people know why they should vote for you?
Okay, thank you, Jason. So I have the experience and the determination to fulfill this role. It is crucial that we gear up and strengthen our party heading towards 2027. So I am ready to do that, and I am the best placed person to do that, I believe. And so I really believe in representing the grassroots. And I've proven that I can. I've proven that I can fundraise. I've proven that I'm results driven, and I really want to be here to help the party. And I hope that you vote for me on November 29th. And I really just believe in keeping Alberta strong and free. And I would love to be able to help out with that endeavor. So yes, please vote for me on November 29th. Thank you.
And thank you very much for reaching out to the show as well to come on. And it was very important for us to go ahead and get as many voices out there as possible. And you're one of the ones that reached out. So you're very proactive on connecting to people. So I'm glad that you came on the show. Jodie, same question to you. The elections this weekend. Do you have any final comments for Albertans?
Well, I have the skill set to fill the role. I understand the role quite well. Sat before on Wild Rose as VP of Comms, UCP as VP of Comms. I'm just stepping back into the game to make sure we keep moving ahead. My communication skills, I sit as a county counselor. A farmer's wife wears many hats. So I can mediate, I can birth a cow, I can fix a tractor and still pick up a kid from school, as well as my own career. So I just want to help the Conservative Party get prepared, ready, organized, progress forward. Those grassroots voices matter. Easy for a politician to lose sight of that. So I want to just help be there to bring forward that voice and help communicate back. I have teamgateman.ca if you want to dig further into me. I'm a pretty open book. But otherwise, I ask for the vote from my Southern voters, because that's all who can vote for me at the AGM in Edmonton this weekend.
Fantastic. And you know what went through my head as you're telling me you're back? Jodie's back. Yes, she's
Back.
Jodie's back. Okay, so hang on a second as we say goodbye to our public side, and we'll have a couple more questions for you if you don't mind, okay? All right. So, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you can tell that there's a big push to have more grassroots representation and cross over to the urban side of things to bridge that gap, because there's definitely another side on the urban side, and a lot of work needs to be happening on the urban side.
Yes.
And what I liked about both of them is they're not taking their base for granted. They're not forgetting about the strong support rurally. They're not forgetting the rural support and taking it for granted, which is good, because that's how you build frustration. And then people are no longer supportive if you forget about them. Don't take them for granted. So, yeah, I like where they're going with this.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they have the same concerns. Jodie and Helen have the same concerns as we do. Like everyone in the province, we help.
Just stick your head out the door. You'll have those concerns. If you know what's going on out there and you watch the show long enough, I have the same ones as well.
Yeah, so looking forward to everyone in locals. We'll see you shortly. Everyone else, hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and to just give you a heads up, it's going to be Chris Barber on tomorrow morning. His court king is on Wednesday to find out whether or not they take his truck, seize his truck. And Wednesday, we're going to have Mitch Sylvester from the APP on. Give us an update on what happened in court last week as they are fighting to bring this question forward to you. So Chris Barber tomorrow and Mitch Sylvester Wednesday.
Fantastic. See you tomorrow.
Have a great day, everybody. Love you all, and God bless.